This evening, tragic apartment fire claims lives of father and 2 children in Georgetown. Manhunt underway as Puppi fatally stabbed. Police pursue suspect. GRA cracks down on illegal tobacco and alcohol brands. Urges compliance with excise stamp regulations. In the region, Mexico heatwave. Increase in heat-related deaths. And internationally, France rocked by 3rd night of riots over police killing of teen. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for June 30th, 2023. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. Tragedy struck early this morning as a man and his 2 young children lost their lives in a devastating fire in their apartment on Drysdale Street in Georgetown. The victims are 40-year-old Michael Richards, his 6-year-old daughter Samaya Richards, and 4-year-old daughter Supreme Richards. The fire broke out at approximately 6:45 a.m. and quickly engulfed their residence. Despite the efforts of the Ghana Fire Service, they could not rescue Richards and his children from the blazing inferno. The cause of the fire remains unknown, and investigations are underway to determine its origin. Meanwhile, the Ghana Fire Service is reminding citizens to exercise caution and follow safety measures to avoid home fires. Homes should be equipped with fire prevention and firefighting devices such as smoke detectors, fire extinguishers, or buckets of sand, which will aid in alerting people to a fire and putting it out quickly. Citizens are urged to desist from using illegal electrical connections, which pose many hazards in the homes and are a leading cause of electrical fires. Additionally, while grill work provides homes and businesses with security, it is advised that there be an evacuation plan in place or a clear form of exit to be used in the event of a fire or emergency. In other news, police are on the hunt for a 22-year-old man who allegedly fatally stabbed a laborer at Riverview Access Road, Rhymeveld on Wednesday, June 28. The victim, 34-year-old Delon Waterman, also known as Puppi of Riverview, Rhymeveld, was allegedly killed by the 22-year-old male suspect who is on the run. According to a police report, Waterman intervened to protect his 9-year-old nephew during an assault perpetrated by the suspect along the Riverview Access Road. An argument ensued, escalating into a physical altercation. During that altercation, armed with a knife, the suspect stabbed Waterman in his left side chest and fled the scene. After the incident, Waterman returned home but lost consciousness. The police were alerted and responded to the situation. They escorted the injured man to the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. His body was taken to the mortuary and it is awaiting a post-mortem examination. Meanwhile, the police are hunting for the suspect as investigations continue. Police are investigating a fatal accident on the Karkar Public Road in Linden on Thursday, June 29th. The incident involved a motorcycle driven by the deceased 27-year-old Sheldon Solomon of Old Karkar, Mackenzie, Linden, and a motorcar driven by 24-year-old Judah Lormer of Carter Street, Karkar, Linden. According to inquiries, around 8 a.m., the motorcycle was traveling east along the northern side of the Karkar Public Road at a high speed, while the motorcar was heading south on Thomas Street and Access Road and turning west onto the main road, colliding with the motorcycle. The collision caused the motorcyclist to fall, sustaining injuries. He was initially conscious and taken to the Linden Hospital complex for treatment. However, he was later transferred to the Georgetown Public Hospital for further medical attention, but unfortunately succumbed to his injuries during the transportation. The motorcar driver was taken into custody. A breathalyzer test was conducted, which showed no sign of alcohol in his system. However, further investigations into the incident are currently underway. Stick around when we return. Major hydrocarbon discovery in Re-1 exploration well unveils promising potential in quarantine block, and GRA cracks down on illegal tobacco and alcohol brands, urges compliance with excise stamp regulations.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop. Safe and sound, solid and secure. Always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized care, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Becca Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
And they go tweet, tweet, tweet. Tweety, tweet, 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 I hear birds outside.
The teachers of Kiskadee Kids and Harpy Eagles, Tweet Tweet Show.
Children, what time is it?
Tweet,
ABC. 1, 2, 3.
The life of a teacher in and out of school. Sunday, July 2nd at the National Cultural Center. Doors open at 7 p.m. and admissions $1,000 and $1,500.
Hello, my fellow TikToker followers. It's Credit, and today all we will be making Chinese noodles with Puppi's, chow mein, chicken fritters, and spice cake. For the noodles, all of these will be using Puppi's, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, five spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinated, soak for all you who don't know nothing with Puppi's, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
Pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, jerk seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in high. We serve with Puppi's barbecue sauce. Radhika went to the supermarket and she proper buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. She shaped like a guy in a map.
Puppi's has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Puppi's, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Natural Resources has announced a major update on the Wave 1 exploration well in the Quarantine Block. The drilling, which started in January 2023, has led to the discovery of hydrocarbon-bearing sandstone reservoirs in the Maastrichtian, Campanian, and Santonian intervals. The Maastrichtian and Campanian intervals have shown a significant net pay of 23.5 meters. CGX Energy is currently conducting assessment focused on the Santonian interval to evaluate its potential. Preliminary investigations using wireline logs and core samples indicate the presence of 64 meters of hydrocarbon-bearing sand in the Santonian interval. However, these findings are yet to be verified through laboratory analysis. An independent third-party laboratory will analyze rock and fluid properties from the Santonian core over the next 2 to 3 months. The results will determine if the second discovery has commercial potential. This discovery is a significant milestone for offshore exploration in Guyana, with a total of 45 findings since 2015, showcasing the country's hydrocarbon potential beyond the Stabroek Block. In other news, the Ghana Revenue Authority issued a reminder to importers, wholesalers, and retailers that all packages of alcohol and tobacco products imported must have an excise stamp in accordance with Regulations 212 of the Customs Act. Failure to comply with this regulation has led to law enforcement seizing illegal and uncustomed brands. The authority emphasizes its commitment to working with legitimate importers and the public to ensure compliance with tax, trade, and border laws. To combat the trade of illicit tobacco brands, the authority lists legitimate import brands that comply with tax laws and health regulations. Importers, wholesalers, retailers, and users of tobacco products are encouraged to regularize their trade affairs and become compliant. The authority maintains a zero-tolerance approach against smuggling and tax evasion, with penalties including prosecution for offenders. Individuals can contact the GRA's hotline number on the screen for clarification or to report smuggling activities or illicit products. Don't go away after the break. France rocked by third night of riots over police killing of teen, and gravitational waves. Astrophysicists hear the hum of the universe.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Hello, my fellow TikToker followers. It's Credit, and today all we will be making Chinese noodles with Puppi's, chow mein, chicken fritters, and poised cake. For the noodles, all of these will be using Puppi's, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, five spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinate soak for all you don't know nothing with Puppi's, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, dark seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document planting flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in high. We serve with Puppi's barbecue sauce. Radical went to the supermarket and she proper buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. He shaped like a guy in a map.
Puppi's has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Puppi's, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
And they go tweet, tweet, tweet. Tweety, tweet, 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 I hear birds outside.
The teachers of Kiss Kitty Kids and Harpy Eagles. Tweet, tweet, show.
Children, what time is it?
Tweet,
ABC. 1, 2, 3.
The life of a teacher in and out of school. Sunday, July 2nd at the National Cultural Center. Doors open at 7 p.m. and admissions $1,000 and $1,500.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized gear, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Becca Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Crow Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. Temperatures have reached nearly 50 degrees Celsius in some areas in Mexico. Mexico's health ministry has recorded more than 100 heat-related deaths this year. Nearly all the deaths were attributed to heat stroke, with a handful from dehydration. Al Jazeera's Emran Olakan reports.
There's no respite in Mexico from the sweltering heat wave. Health authorities say 112 heat-related deaths have been recorded since March, almost 3 times as many as last year. Those working outdoors are most at risk, but they are finding ways to adapt.
I work in construction and it's really bad. We hydrate with water and rest for 15 minutes, then we go back to work again. We do that every hour.
A high-pressure weather system called a heat dome is trapping heat and humidity over Mexico and the southern United States. The northern Mexican state of Nuevo León has been hard hit, with 64 deaths and record-high temperatures soaring to 45 degrees Celsius.
There is a fairly intense heat wave with temperatures higher than normal, higher than those recorded in recent years. The high temperatures generate changes in our bodies, especially between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. when the most intense heat waves are registered, and can cause dehydration in people.
Weather experts are warning that another heat wave is on the way. The immediate forecast for many Mexicans is finding any way they can to beat the heat. Imran Al-Khan, Al Jazeera.
Internationally, a 17-year-old delivery driver known as Nihal M. was shot dead by a police officer on Tuesday in the Paris suburbs. More than 6,000 people marched in his memory. In Nanterre, the suburb of Paris where the teenager was killed, protesters torched cars, barricaded streets, and hurled projectiles at police following a peaceful vigil. Al Jazeera's Paul Brennan reports.
More than 6,000 people marched in memory of 17-year-old Nihal M., the crowd led by the dead teenager's mother. But the largely peaceful march turned violent, with some protesters burning cars and police attempting to disperse the crowds by firing tear gas. There is a palpable sense of outrage and grief here in the suburb of Nanterre, a sense that Nihal's killing is the catalyst for an outpouring of long-suppressed frustration. Nihal was known to police but didn't have a criminal record. His family and friends paid tribute.
He is a young man. He's very kind. He's not evil or a hooligan. What the media are saying about him is not true. His mum raised him well. His grandmother we know here around the neighborhood. She's kind and helpful. She loves everyone. The young man left us for nothing. We're not contradicting the state. We are not contradicting the legal or police procedure. Yes, he was driving a car without a license. He tried to flee, but he should not be killed.
The original police account was that the 17-year-old had driven the car at one of the officers, but video appears to contradict the police version of what happened. It shows an officer pointing his weapon through the window and appearing to fire at close range before the car then pulls away. Fatally wounded, Nihal crashed the vehicle a short distance away.
En l'état des investigations et des éléments recueillis,
in view of the state of the investigation and the details collected, the prosecution considers that the legal conditions for the use of the weapon are not met.
The officer is now being held as a homicide suspect in custody at a prison in central Paris. In a country where police impunity is widely assumed, that is a momentous precedent. But it hasn't quelled the anger in the banlieue suburbs of Paris and other cities. President Emmanuel Macron held a crisis meeting, denouncing both the shooting and the rioting that has followed as unjustifiable.
Clearly, the emotion that comes with the death of a young man calls for contemplation and calm, and it's what the government has constantly called for. I think this is what should continue to guide the next hours and the tributes.
The Interior Minister has ordered the deployment of 40,000 police officers across France, including 5,000 in the capital Paris alone. President Macron appealed for contemplation and respect on Thursday. No sign of that here in Nanterre. Buildings are burning. The police have been firing tear gas again in a cat-and-mouse game with demonstrators and troublemakers. On the one side, the authorities are appealing for calm. On the other side, Nihal's family are demanding justice. Paul Brennan, Al Jazeera, Nanterre.
And finally, it's a noise from far, far away in deep space, and the discovery may reveal more about how our universe was formed. Teams of astrophysicists have detected a background hum of ultra-low frequency gravitational waves, but what caused them remains a mystery. Al Jazeera's Colin Barker reports.
When Albert Einstein set the speed limit of the universe at the dawn of a new century, he proved that the space around us and the time that we perceive are two sides of the same thing. It's called space-time, and all the stuff in the universe, such as planets, stars, and us, sit inside it. But that led Einstein to another big discovery. Space-time itself can vibrate and warp. The movement of very heavy objects, like two massive black holes crashing into one another, ripples space-time like a rug, sending so-called gravitational waves in every direction. They cross the universe, carrying information about the events that caused them. They were detected here for the first time 7 years ago, as they squeezed and warped the Earth itself using this machine called LIGO. But astrophysicists thought there must be more, not just single waves caught by chance, but a background hum from the millions of invisible collisions throughout the history of our universe. So they looked to the universe for clues. Pulsars are dense, dying stars that shoot beams of light from both poles. Astronomers know of over 2,000 in our own galaxy, and they say there should be 1 billion others. These are stars that have run out of fuel and shrunk to just a few kilometers in size. But like a figure skater, as they pull their arms inward, they spin at hundreds of times per second. To astronomers on Earth, they blink like a steady clock. Astrophysicists watched 67 of them for 15 years. Only then were they able to detect that space-time itself was warping. The blinks were slowing and speeding up again. The reason? Long, slow gravitational waves, the kinds that can't be detected from any single observatory on Earth, coming from everywhere, all at once. It's a study that could only be accomplished globally.
This discovery, it's not come only from one group. It's several different groups. So it's a multinational project, US, China, Australia, my colleagues here in Australia, in Europe as well. So that's the power and that's the beauty of the science, that the science doesn't see borders. And to me, that is one of the most powerful messages.
The first observation of gravitational waves was a signal from deep space. Now, astrophysicists are looking out through the lens of those very waves to better understand the structure of our universe. Colin Baker, Al Jazeera.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's SafeTV2 headline news for this Friday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in on Tuesday evening at 7 for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other and do have a wonderful weekend and Caricom Day.